Well, hello everyone, it's Passek, the FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. I'm still down in Mexico, about to leave in a couple more days here. This video is going to come out way back, like it's going to come out in like August or September. It's now June, and we're about to leave in about 4 days. We leave Mexico and start our trip back to Canada for a couple months, and then back down here again. So today's video, a booby. Love boobies. Boobies and blobs. I always have a large variety in my box. It's just something that when the fish are off, throw a booby on, throw a blob on, get that aggressive strike, right? That predatory response. And I mean, sometimes they're taking it for other things like blobs, for like Daphnia blobs and things like that. So today is going to be my green flash booby. Super simple, really light on materials, just a very thin, sparse booby, tied in several different sizes and colors. But again, pretty simple. And I'm going to show you guys again the Gary Hankey technique on tying in the booby eyes. So you use that whole foam tube up. So you've got all that extra foam in there for that extra buoyancy, right? Not cutting it in half and only using half. So, alrighty. And this way it's rounded too, so it doesn't spin. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let's get tying. Alrighty, so in the vise today we have an Ahrex FW 541. It's booby time. Time to tie some boobies. For the thread, I'm going to be using some Semperfli Nanosilk and some Semperfli Classic Waxed. And a wood duck. You could use olive too. I'm going to be using a kind of a olivey brown booby tube from Semperfli. It's a 6 mil. I'm going to double that over, you'll see. Going to use some Semperfli 0.2 mil bright silver wire. I'm going to use some Semperfli Holo Tinsel in green. And I'm going to use some Semperfli Gaula and green blend Semperflash. Okay, it's a fairly simple fly. The only thing is this, tying on the booby tube. Now, this is a technique that I learned from Gary Hankey out of Edmonton. And it is my go-to way of putting booby tubes on now. So I'm going to go just a little bit past the point of the hook. And then just come back. Now, depending on what you're tying, you can just use this all the way through. And I might even just do that all the way through. So now, with your booby tube, you're going to cut. I'm just going to cut one off of camera, and then I'll show you. So you're going to cut both your ends on a taper like that. Okay, but the same, not opposite, the same direction. So about like that. Okay. Now you're going to fold this over so the tips line up this way. Okay. Not the other way, not that way. Okay. This way. So it's the long side touching the long side. Now we're going to come back just a bit. We're going to tie that tube in, facing backwards. Okay, so now it's in like that. Now I'm going to bring this and see if I can turn that so you guys can see it better. But I'm going to come right through the center like that and then pull down. So I have to kind of see it. So I'm just going to do it for myself, and then I'll show you guys what it does. You got to be a little bit patient at the beginning here to make sure that you get it pretty close to centering so your booby eyes are balanced. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but the closer you can get it, the better, because it'll help it from spinning. So that's what's happened. Okay. So now you haven't cut it in half to make a smaller tube. You've used the whole tube pretty well, other than those two little corners you cut off. So it gives you that much more buoyancy. Plus, because it's rounded, it doesn't spin as easily. Okay. I'm just going to come right in behind there and grab a little bit of Flashaboo. That one about the Semperflash, probably one about 6 or 7 strands here. I cut off the full length of the strand, so I got the full length of it, and I'm going to use it twice here. So I want this sticking past a bit, so I'm just going to make it a little longer than I know that I need it. And I'm just going to put that right in behind those eyes and tie that in all the way back to my tie-in point. Out there. Okay. And come back up. So now I want it about maybe a ½ an inch past the bend of the hook, so about there maybe, give or take. Not every one of them is a little bit different. Mine are never exactly the same, right? So now I'm going to take a little bit of that bright silver. I know I had a piece. There we go. So I don't have to take it off the roll. A little bit of that bright silver wire. Stick it in right behind those eyes and come back to where you just tie that tail in. Okay, get that out of the side. Take a little bit of that green Holo tinsel. Now I tie these in a variety of different color schemes, from blacks to browns to oranges to greens to yellows, reds. So I have a bunch of different opportunities ready just in case, depending on what they're mad at. So now just gonna overlapping wraps, come up to just into those eyes. Turn that so I can see. Nip that off. Then I'm just going to wrap this forward in segments. Again, same thing. Just make sure you get it right tucked in there. Helicopter that free. That little one piece there doesn't want to cooperate. Let's get her out of there then. Oh, nope. Threaten her with a scissor and she moves. Look at that. Okay, so now I'm going to take some more of that Flashaboo. This time I'm going to double it over because I want double that amount. So all I've done is doubled it over. Get right in there. Actually, I'm just going to give that a cut just so it's a straight edge. Right in there. Just make sure you get that tied in really well. Okay, now I'm going to cut this just slightly longer than the tail. Okay, now I'm going to take some of this olive green Gleamy dubbing from Hends, Hends Gleamy, this one, the green, olive green. Just double a little bit of that on here. Right in there, and I'm actually going to go and figure eight through the eye as well. Okay, and then I'm going to take a look at the bottom side. Nope, don't like that, not enough, so I'm going to put a little bit more of that Gleamy on. This is more for the fisherman or the fly tyer than it is for the fish. Basically, it's just hiding some of that tie-in underneath is all it's really doing. Okay. Then give yourself a one set whip finish. Little tiny bit of Sally's right on the thread. Second set of whip finishes. Nip that off. Close your Sally so you don't knock it over. And there's your finished little sparkly booby. Okay, that hides that tie-in a little bit down there, right? So you can give this a brush out if you want, make it a little buggier too if you like, but that's it. It's a super effective fly at times. Boobies and blobs are some of my go-to. Boobies, blobs, fabs, squirmy fabs with a squirmy blobs with a squirmy wormy tail. I use them quite a bit. So yeah. So that's it. Just change up colors and make sure you got a bunch of different ones in your box and slightly different sizes too. This is pretty big. I'd probably go, I usually go, this is an 8. I'll go 10 and 12 in this as well. So 8, 10, 12 is what I like having in my box for this. So ready. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, whoop, whoop, thumbs up. If you've subscribed, awesome. If you haven't, please consider doing so. It helps. And we'll see you guys in the next tying video.